Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine trading your fully air-conditioned corporate cabin, your high-paying job, and that memory foam mattress you absolutely love.
Oh, the mattress is hard to give up.
Right. But imagine trading all of that for a concrete floor, a completely shaved head, and a daily, just exhausting battle with your own mind. Sounds absolutely crazy, real?
It really does. I mean, who voluntarily signs up for that kind of punishment?
Exactly, boss. But that is exactly what we're getting into today. We are diving into a raw, completely unvarnished document called A Struggling Monk: The Fire, the Doubt, and the Truth Behind the Robes by Swami Pranavananda.
Such a powerful read.
Mind-blowing here. And let me tell you right off the bat, to you listening at home, this is not your typical fairy tale about some guy finding instant enlightenment sitting peacefully under a banyan tree.
No glowing halos here.
Zero glowing halos. This is the gritty, sweaty reality of joining the Dakshinamurthy Math in Puri, Odisha. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right, and it's such an important read because it completely flips the script on how society views monastic life. Because think about it, we usually view the ashram as this ultimate chill zone, all right?
Haman, like a weekend retreat.
Exactly, a peaceful getaway where you go when the corporate rat race gets to be too much. But the author shatters that illusion on page 1. The ashram isn't a hideout, it is a blast furnace. And it is specifically designed to burn the ego down to ash.
Literally.
So whether you are prepping for a massive boardroom presentation tomorrow, or you're just trying to find some peace in the middle of a chaotic Indian metro commute, this deep dive will show you that the ultimate battle is always inside your own head.
Absolutely are. And the deep dive takes us right to the night before his transition. The specific details from the text are just gripping. It's 2 a.m. The fan in the guest room is going click-whir, click-whir.
You can almost hear it.
You really can.
Yeah.
The author is staring at a house gecko on the wall, sweating profusely, and looking at his battered blue American Tourister suitcase.
That suitcase is such a heavy symbol.
Totally. Because that bag contains his entire civilian life. His jeans, his cologne, his credit cards. You can feel this terrifying biological urge he has in that moment to just grab the bag, catch the next train back to his apartment in Bhubaneswar.
Order a large pizza.
Yes. Order a pizza and pretend none of this ever happened.
Because that 2 a.m. panic, that is the ego facing its own extinction. It's fighting for survival. And honestly, the psychological weight of what comes the next morning, the Virajahoma, the fire ritual, is immense. Have you thought about what actually happens in that ritual?
It's intense. The priest commands him to offer a sticky ball of rice, a pinda, into the fire. Now, normally in our culture, you do this for your dead ancestors.
Yeah, exactly. But here, he is performing his own funeral.
That just messed with my head when I read it.
It's literal psychological surgery, without anesthesia. He throws that rice into the fire and has to actively watch his past burn. His graduation day, his memories of an ex-girlfriend from 2015, his father's pride in his corporate job, all of it turning into smoke.
He's literally declaring himself dead to the world.
Dead to the world.
And the visceral details of the physical transformation that follows are just too much. He talks about the cold steel of the barber's razor scraping off his thick black hair, and he realizes right then he is actively rejecting his mother's genetics.
Wow.
Then wading into the freezing black waters of the Bay of Bengal before sunrise, and physically snapping his Yajnopavita, the sacred thread.
Which is a massive cultural statement.
Huge. He shouts into the wind that he belongs to no caste, no lineage, no family anymore. He is just consciousness floating in the void. It sounds so epic. But then reality hits.
Right. What's fascinating here is how the physical transformation completely mismatches the mental one. It's almost conical. He steps out of the water, puts on the glowing saffron robes, the jarua, and holds the bamboo staff, the danda.
Looking the part.
Looking the part entirely. He's standing there expecting this lightning bolt of spiritual power to just hit him, like he's suddenly Yoda.
And
Instead, he just feels freezing cold. His mind immediately starts criticizing his own dhoti-tying skills, and he takes one single step and instantly cuts his bare foot on a sharp stone.
Oh man, the irony.
It really is. The ritual changed his name, sure. But inside, that terrified, highly critical corporate manager is very much alive. The outfit changed, but the operating system in his brain hasn't updated yet.
Which perfectly brings us to the daily grind. Because if you listening had any illusions of a Zen monastic life, this book shatters them. He details his first night trying to sleep. He's on this scratchy kusha grass mat, battling a high-pitched mosquito going, ee, in his ear.
We all know that mosquito.
Right. He's staring at a lizard and just desperately missing his mother's cooking and his AC. But for me, the most relatable, hilarious moment has to be the Mishra's Amrita tea incident.
Oh, the chai dilemma?
Yes. He's walking down the scorching Bada Danda, the Grand Road in Puri, literally dying of thirst. The sun is beating down. Suddenly, he smells boiling milk, cardamom, and crushed ginger from a roadside stall.
Best smell in the world.
R.A., nothing beats it. And he actually has a 10 rupee trust coin tucked in his dhoti. But he is terrified to buy a cup. Why? Because there are 3 college boys in Born to Ride t-shirts sitting there, and he is paralyzed by the fear that they will judge him.
That scene is brilliant because it perfectly unpacks the glass house effect. Think about your own life. When you wear jeans and a t-shirt, you are essentially invisible. You can eat on the street, you can argue with an auto walla, and nobody cares.
True.
But when you wear saffron, you become a public monument.
You're public property, boss.
Exactly. People expect you to be this flawless, desireless symbol of purity. The internal war he fights over spending 10 rupees is so intense. He's standing there analyzing, is wanting this tea comma, worldly desire, or is it just basic biological survival?
It's just tea.
But for him, it's a crisis. And the immense guilt he feels when he finally caves, buys the tea in a clay cooler, and savors the sugar, only to have a passing pilgrim frown at him. In that frown, he realizes he's still completely a slave to the world's opinion. He left the corporate world, but he still cares what people think of his performance.
Too much, right. And speaking of the corporate world, imagine escaping all those endless corporate meetings and quarterly reviews, abandoning your whole life to find God, only to be handed a wheezing Windows XP desktop and told to tally the ashram's ledger on Microsoft Excel.
The irony is staggering.
I was laughing out loud. He left the corporate rat race to escape spreadsheets, and here he is sitting in a hot, dusty room doing data entry. But this actually leads to one of the most profound moments in the book, the missing 100 rupees.
Yes. He spends 4 grueling hours hunting for a 100 rupee discrepancy in the Excel sheet. It turns out to be a silly typo where he entered 240 instead of 140 for a bottle of fennel. Now, a civilian might say, it's just $100, let it go. Why does he care so much?
Because of where the money came from.
Exactly. Because earlier that day, a poor woman selling garlands outside the temple came in and donated a crumpled, turmeric-stained 10 rupee note just to feed the hungry. Looking at that Excel sheet, he realizes he isn't just a clerk in fancy dress. He is a guardian of Dharma. That money isn't just currency, it's pure trust.
Which perfectly sets up how he deals with Ramesh Babu. Oh, Ramesh Babu, we all know a guy like this. He is this pain-chewing contractor hired to build the new dining hall, and he's totally cutting corners.
Of course he is.
He's mixing a weak 1:8 sand to cement ratio instead of the required 1:4.
A classic Jew god move.
Right, but the monk catches him. Now, normally you'd get furious, your ego would flare up, and you'd start shouting, but he uses something the book calls dharmic anger.
That's a crucial distinction. It's anger used as a tool to protect the truth, not to protect his pride.
Exactly. So he doesn't scream. He just stubbornly stands right there in the scorching sun for 3 solid hours. He refuses to move an inch, literally threatening to get sunstroke, until Ramesh Babu gets so uncomfortable he finally gives in and mixes the cement correctly. Soft heart, hard spine.
It's brilliant. But as tough as those external battles with contractors and Excel sheets are, the internal battles are fiercer. The ego is incredibly sneaky.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the sensory invasion in the library. He is sitting there, trying to be a good monk, translating the super dry ancient Upanishad, and in walks Mrs. Mohanty, a wealthy devotee, bringing a hot stainless steel tiffin of gajar ka halwa cooked in pure desi ghee.
Just the description of that smell is intoxicating.
Oh, the smell acts as a literal time machine. It transports him straight back out of the ashram, right back to a cozy winter evening in his mother's kitchen in Delhi. He is shaking, he's holding the spoon, he almost eats it, but then he stops.
He catches himself.
He realizes if he takes even one bite of that halwa, he wouldn't be feeding his stomach, he would be feeding the ghost of his past.
So what does he do? This is where the psychology gets amazing.
He runs straight to the Goshala, the cowshed, and feeds this absolute masterpiece of a dessert to a white cow named Gauri.
It's a brilliant psychological pivot. He transfers the desire. He turns consumption into an offering, into a yajna.
Instead of eating it, he feeds it.
Yes, because if he just suppressed his desire through sheer willpower, it would have rebounded later, twice as strong. Instead, he expanded his family. In that moment, by feeding Gauri, he treated the cow as both his mother and his child. It's a profound, active way of dealing with cravings rather than just white-knuckling through them.
But it's not just physical cravings like Hawa that trap you. The ego finds digital ways to survive, too. Have you ever fallen down the YouTube rabbit hole of comparing your life to someone else's highlight reel?
Oh, all the time. It's a universal trap.
Our monk, does, too. He's sitting in his dingy office looking at a video by Swami Pranavananda, this incredibly handsome, flawless monk with 2.4 million views. This guy is talking about instant bliss and charging 2,000 rupees for VIP tickets at the Mayfair Hotel.
And our monk.
Meanwhile, our monk's channel has exactly 142 subscribers, and half the comments are just complaining about his bad audio quality.
This section perfectly breaks down the algorithm of envy. The monk realizes his ego didn't actually die in the fire of the Vraja Homa. It just shape-shifted. He went from being a corporate competitor analyzing market share to a spiritual competitor analyzing view counts. It's the exact same disease, just a different symptom.
It's so true. But then he does something really insightful. He looks closer at the screen. He zooms in on this famous YouTube guru's face. And what does he see? He notices the tired eyes. He notices the tight, strained mouth.
Because the famous Swami is trapped. He's on a golden treadmill of content creation. If he stops smiling, if he stops projecting bliss, the algorithm kills him, his brand dies.
Exactly. And seeing that, our monk suddenly embraces his own obscurity as the greatest luxury. Obscurity means he doesn't have to perform for anyone. Obscurity is the true soil where the spirit actually has room to grow, unbothered by the algorithm.
But we have to be honest with the listener here. That soil gets very, very dry sometimes. The spiritual path isn't a constant upward curve.
No, it is definitely not. Let's talk about his lowest point, Kartik Purnima. It's the holiest night. The entire ashram is chanting. There's a woman in a simple cotton sari weeping in pure devotion in the front row. And our monk, he feels absolutely nothing. His heart is a graveyard. It's the terrifying aridity of the past.
The dark night of the soul.
Right. He actually escapes to the roof. He's looking at the flag on the Jagannath temple, shivering in the sea breeze, and he seriously questions if God even exists. The atheist civilian inside his head wakes up and whispers, "You idiot! You threw your whole life, your career, your family away for a fairy tale."
That roof sequence is agonizing to read. But he has an analytical breakthrough right there in the cold. He realizes that his agonizing longing to feel God, that painful emptiness, is the proof itself.
Wait, unpack that for me. How is the emptiness the proof?
Think of it this way. The very existence of thirst in a human being proves the existence of water, right? Why would we evolve to feel thirst if water wasn't real?
Ah, that makes sense.
Similarly, the pain of separation he feels, what they call viraha, is his connection to the divine. He realizes he doesn't need to feel overwhelming bliss to be on the right path. The ache of missing God is, in itself, a relationship with God.
Wow. Still, the next morning, knowing that intellectually doesn't fix everything, he feels like brittle glass. He gets called to the guru's kutia, the cottage that smells of old paper and vibhuti ash, and he just collapses. He confesses to his guru that he is totally empty, that he's a struggler, not a saint, and he just wants to pack his bags and quit.
And the guru's response here is just brilliant. He doesn't scold him. He doesn't give him a lecture on discipline. He simply points outside the window to a toddler who keeps falling down on his bottom while trying to learn to walk.
Right.
The guru says, "Look at the mother." She lets him fall to build his strength, right? But if he wanders near an open well, she catches him instantly.
The safety net.
Exactly. The guru places a heavy hand on the monk's shaved head and reveals that the lineage, the parampara, is that mother. It is the safety net. The monk thought he had to hold on to the rope of spirituality with his own strength. The guru tells him, "You aren't holding the rope is holding you." He is allowed to stumble, he is allowed to have doubts, but the lineage will never let him hit the ground.
The relief he feels in that moment is palpable even to the reader, and it connects so beautifully to how he finally finds peace. He doesn't find it in deep meditation. He finds it doing the most boring, mind-numbing task imaginable. The ashram's dispatch machine breaks down, so he is tasked with manually pasting 2,000 address labels on the AMM Car magazine alongside Hari, the office clerk.
Using that awful blue synthetic gum.
Yes, that foul-smelling, sticky blue gum. Now, his ego could have easily flared up here. I have a master's degree. I shouldn't be doing menial clerical work. But instead, he leans into it. He turns the sticky, messy work into a rhythmic trance of karma yoga.
Slap, spread, stick.
Slap the gum, spread it, stick the label, press. Slap, spread, stick, press. He realizes he isn't just mailing magazines, he's pasting prasad.
It's the active scrubbing away of the ego through humble action. But you know, the deepest realization of detachment in the book comes during the heavy, really powerful climax.
The death of Swami Satyananda.
Yes. Swami Satyananda is this 80-year-old, notoriously grumpy monk in the ashram, and he just dies quietly in his sleep one night.
The way the author describes finding the body is chilling, the shock of lifting dead weight. He describes the Swami as gray, cold, like freezer meat. But then comes the surreal victory parade. They don't mourn him like we would in the civilian world. They celebrate.
It's a completely different paradigm of death.
They dress the corpse in fresh saffron robes, they place him in a bamboo palanquin completely covered in orange marigolds, and they carry him right through the middle of the chaotic Puri vegetable market while chanting joyously. And boss, the world doesn't stop. People are literally haggling over the price of brinjals and potatoes while a corpse floats by.
Because that is the reality of life. The market continues. And this highlights the absolute finality of the Kapala Kriya at the Swargadwar cremation ground.
Explain the Kapala Kriya for those who might not know.
It's the ritual where, as the body burns, the chief mourner uses a bamboo pole to strike and break the skull of the deceased. The loud CRX is meant to release the life force, but it's also a stark, visceral reminder of our mortality. Standing there in the smoke, watching an 80-year-old body turn to white ash, our monk has his ultimate breakthrough.
That everything is temporary.
He realizes that all his exhausting anxieties, the corrupt contractor, the YouTube views, the Excel sheets, the sticky blue gum, they all live inside this fragile biological casing that will eventually just become a bucket of ash.
That brings him true vairagya, right? Liberating dispassion. The fire consumes everything.
Exactly. When you truly realize you are going to be ash, why let the ego stress you out today?
It brings the whole journey full circle so beautifully. It's late at night. Our monk has ink on his fingers from writing the very journal we are reading. And there's a knock on his door. It's a terrified 22-year-old boy in a Just Do It t-shirt. He wants to join the ashram. He is looking for a romantic, peaceful paradise away from the world.
And what does our monk tell him?
He doesn't sugarcoat it at all. He tells the kid the brutal truth. You will be hungry, you will be profoundly lonely, and you will cry for your mother, but you will also find out who you really are. And then he tosses the boy a banana, officially stepping into the role of the guide.
He finally realizes that the struggle wasn't preventing the yoga, the struggle was the yoga. The ashram is simply the potter's wheel, the guru is the hand, and all those annoying hardships are the fire baking the clay pot so it can finally hold nectar of wisdom. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the author's epilogue message to you, the listener, is incredibly empowering. You don't need to shave your head or wear an orange robe to be a monk.
Exactly. The path isn't a straight line to the top of a mountain, it's a spiral. The next time you are sitting in brutal bumper-to-bumper traffic in Mumbai or Bengaluru, or you're dealing with a boss who takes all the credit, or you are just feeling completely invisible and unappreciated, remember that every single time you choose patience over anger, or you let go of a bitter grudge, you are performing your own tapasya.
Very well said.
You are already a monk standing in the blast furnace of the real world. So ask yourself, what is the blue synthetic gum or the sand to cement ratio in your life right now that is quietly, daily burning away your ego? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Let that thought simmer with your next cup of cutting chai.